Hey everyone, MTash here, and I'm making a video on Destiny Rising. It is the new Destiny gacha game, and honestly, I think it's pretty good. It's a first person, you got different characters, different abilities, like, for a free mobile game, it's not too bad. But if you are a Destiny player, some of this stuff might seem familiar with you. The map, the gunplay, the gameplay. But there's some mechanics in here that you can ruin your account if you don't listen to your boy. All right? So let me go through a couple key things that you need to know before you ruin your account. So there's going to be the main stories and different things. You can push through here to progress. You're going to get some rewards. This is awesome. Okay? But I want to talk about a few key things here that can really hold back your progress. So, number one, your weapons are going to be very important. Upgrading them gives you more damage, some content. You will not be able to beat it if you don't upgrade your weapons. However, certain characters can only use certain weapons. So if you highly invest into this machine gun, unless you pull some crazy mythical character down the road that can use the machine gun, it's essentially a wasted weapon. The other thing is the materials that you get. So this is a piercing prism. This one is an impact prism for shotguns, swords, and sidearms. If you use up all of these prisms to level up a weapon, and then you get some new weapons, or better weapons, you won't have enough materials to upgrade them. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'll just get more. You won't be able to. In these games, they will get you to invest into multiple weapons early. You're going to try multiple characters, and you're essentially going to brick your account until you wait for daily reset or weekly reset or more energy to get the resources to upgrade the weapon. And what you're going to do is you're going to play for the first 2 or 3 days, and you're going to upgrade a bunch of stuff, and you're going to play really good, and you're going to unlock a mission that if your character's not level 40 or 50, you won't be able to beat it. It's just everything's going to like one-shot you. And you're not going to have the resources to level up a character to 40 or 50 because you wasted all your resources getting everything to level 20. Do you know what I'm saying? And so you have to be very careful not to waste your resources on weapons in the early game until you can't beat content. If you can clear content, don't upgrade anything. If you are dying all the time, then you can start investing into characters. But in the very early game, just wait. Do all the quests, do all the different things, unlock as many free characters as you can, because it's going to allow you to progress, and usually there's going to be strengths and weaknesses to each character that will allow you to overcome even some of the differentials in level. So, I would recommend, with any weapon or character, but mostly with the characters, it's pretty safe to invest in the main character. And the reason it's safe to invest in the main character, at least in the first few days, is because you get dupes of the character for free. Now, every single character has different abilities and strengths and weaknesses and all these different things. I'm just going to turn down this audio a little bit. But the main character has one advantage over everything else. This skill tree is dupes of the character. This is copies of the character. And the only way to unlock the skill tree is to have more copies of them. But with the main character, they give them to you for free from doing quests. And so by getting these things, you start getting a lot more value for the character. When a scorch hit target, when you shoot them with auto rifle, you can reload from reserves. When attacking with your wolf strike or an enhanced wolf strike and defeat a combatant, it gets an overshield. You get an overshield now, okay? So it's easier to survive because you're using these abilities, you're gaining overshields. This one here, your ignition duration is increased to 10 seconds, and the damage from combustion is increased. So now your burns are doing more, it's lasting longer, it's easier to execute them with the burns. Now, your Wolf's Butchery hit generates a blade of light that over-penetrates combatants within 20 meters. Defeating a target with this will also grant super energy. This is really juicy. If you AoE into a group of enemies, you're getting a bunch of super energy, right? And then, casting Looping Nature grants allies within the radius Wolf's Dash, giving them 10% super energy. So if you're playing with a group and you're using this, now they're getting their super, right? That's awesome. It's free. It's just going to take a little bit of time and doing some quests to do this. However, if we start looking at these other characters, they've got really cool passives as well. But the only way to get these passives is to pull for dupes of these characters. And so, in most cases, your main character is going to carry you for a while because they just get a little bit more value than everyone else. But they're going to get surpassed. Long term, they're typically going to get surpassed. And the reason why they're going to get surpassed is they're a 4-star. In most games, they make them a 5-star, but they typically don't have the best base stats. But they're going to start getting replaced by the 5-star characters. They just have better base stats, their overall better abilities, shorter cooldowns, more damage, yada yada yada. Here's how you can brick your account, part 2. This is a currency that you're going to get a whole bunch of in the early game from doing quests and getting chests and doing all these things. You're going to get 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 pulls here from doing this. And if you spend this on the normal banner, this banner here, you're throwing. Because this is a finite resource that the longer you play, the less of it you're going to get. And when characters like Gwen come out in a couple of days, you won't be able to get them unless you spend money. And you're going to need to save this resource long term to get those characters. And you might not be able to get a character for like a month or two sometimes. Depending on your luck and depending on how these things are, depending how frequent they make this currency is extremely, extremely important. Okay? And in the case of some 5-star characters, if you get dupes of them, they get exponentially better. And so there are situations where instead of having 5 different mythical characters, you just want one and get 2 copies of it. And they're going to be better than everything and beat everything in the game, and you main that character. That's the way it is in HSR, in Genshin, in a lot of these gacha games. A character with 2 copies is sometimes like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, 100%, 200% better than other characters at base. And so that's something that we still need to test and look at. But you need to prioritize this on the limited banner pulls. These pulls are normal pulls. These can be used on the normal banner. This banner, it's fine. And you're going to get some 5 stars from it overall and over time. And you're going to get some characters over time. But you should never do these pulls with this Lumia currency. Now, if you go into the shop, you can see this is the other currency. This is the premium currency, okay? And you're going to maybe get that from some different events and different things, but for the most part, you're going to be using those shards. The other thing, too, is when you pull dupes of characters, you'll get these draw fragments. In a lot of cases, you can use it for more pulls, or you can save up a bunch of them and get characters. This is very typical of gacha games. But this is a long-term thing. This is after weeks and weeks and months of playing that you can really get usually like a 5-star character. So that's just something to consider. For the most part, a lot of your rewards are going to be coming from the actual quests. Doing the actual quests will give you these weapons. I have not seen a singular weapon drop the entire time. And so if you get one of these weapons to drop, and it's got a relatively good roll, it'll actually show you the potential rolls. If you end up getting one of these weapons and it's got 2 of the perks that you actually want, it's essentially a god roll and will never be replaced of this particular weapon. So if you happen to, get Feeding Frenzy and Quick Draw or whatever it is, you could most likely upgrade that weapon without questioning it because you can actually see what it's going to roll on here, and that's cool. But again, they only work on certain characters. So if you're not using these characters or you never pick up Maru, then don't level up these weapons, okay? The training ground, you can get some free weapons as well. If you go in here, I've already claimed them, but you get some free weapons here and roll them and see if you get a good one. Yeah, right there. You can see there's a free weapon here. As you get new characters and you acquire them, you can get some of these weapons and things for free. Might as well go do the training ground. It's just kind of in your quest log there. But for the most part, the other main thing, and I'm going to see if I can bring it up here. Okay. Is there a way to show my energy? I don't know if I can see my energy anywhere in the game. But there are strikes that you can do. Here we go, right here. Okay, so core progression of the game is going to be energy. This is Pinnacle energy, extra Pinnacle energy. When your Pinnacle energy is insufficient, you can use this to make up the rest. So Pinnacle energy is going to regain over time. Okay? Recovers 120 at 6 p.m. every day up to the capacity. So essentially, you never want this number to hit 360. Ever. You want to log in every day and you want to use your energy and make sure that you're using some of it so that it's never hitting that 360. However, the rewards for these things typically get better over time. So if you want to be really sweaty, what you could consider doing is in the first day or two, until we know more, until we're further into the game, you can save a bit of energy till you're getting closer to the 360 and only kind of spend it so that you're going to kind of cap out at the end of the day here or at 6 p.m. or whatever you want to call it. And you can cap out, but you can save that energy and kind of bundle this energy up for further into the game when the drops are better, or you can target farm something that you actually want. Because typically what ends up happening is there's all these different events. So there's a weapon upgrade material, right? There's going to be different difficulties of these things. And the harder difficulties give more per energy. And so if you wait and you push through and you do a bunch of quests and you level up your account, you could typically use 20 energy, but get 2, 3, 4 times the amount of resources for the same amount of energy. That's typically how it happens in every single gacha game. And so, character upgrade materials, if you want to ascend them, some of these things are not going to unlock yet, but you don't want to spend this energy right away. Again, you want to spend your energy to push through barriers. When you get stuck on something and you can't beat a strike, then you want to invest in a character if you think you're actually going to use them. Then you want to spend your energy overall, as long as you're not hitting the cap. And so, for the most part, this game is going to be very, very focused on daily logins, daily energy spent, and luck. It is an RNG game in will I be able to pick up characters from the banners? Am I going to get lucky? And there is going to be content that you won't be able to beat if you don't have some 5-star characters. Okay? There's a bunch that are coming into the game. They're all going to have different kits. I've already seen some of them, and it's, you can already see like how powerful some of these characters are. It's crazy. The other thing too is there's some pretty good daily rewards for logging in, and you can even get like the Huckleberry. All right, this is probably the first weapon I would consider investing in, just because it's like a guaranteed way to have a good weapon. Something like this would be one of the first things I would actually consider investing in fully, because even if it's not the best long term, just with the extra perks and the extra value, it's probably going to feel better than most guns in the game. The fact that it's got Rampage and some of these different things, if you invest in it and you can enhance the perks and get them stronger, that's pretty cool. And the other thing too is, if you look at the login rewards, there's also a selector for a 5-star character, or whatever you want to call it, a mythical character. Again, this is going to be one of the first characters that I would like fully invest in and like take to the moon, because I don't know when I'm going to get Gwen. I don't know when I'm going to get lucky on another banner. But the other thing you need to consider is I would wait to use your character selector until you have found out who you're going to get from the standard banner. Because if you're doing all the different quests, like there's some closed alpha stuff here, there's the login rewards, there's some pulls here, there's the new light stuff to give you some pulls here, you're going to be able to do pity. You're going to hit pity, so you're going to hit these 49 draws. You can get that character, and then you can choose someone else, or invest into that character and make them stronger. Typically, in the early game, you want a little bit of variety, and that's what I would do. The other thing, too, is there are going to be other characters coming, and there's going to be Gwen, and she looks really cool, she looks really powerful, but there's one thing, my final warning, and then I think I'm done. If you think a character looks good now, if you think a character looks OP now, I am telling you, I would guarantee in the next month or 2 months, maybe it takes 3 months, a new character is going to drop that will be like 2 times better. In these gacha games, almost all of them, the power creep is insanity. I have a character in Honkai Star Rail, and not only did I get 1 copy of her, I got 1 copy of her with her weapon, and then I got 2 more copies giving her these crazy passives to make her even stronger, and she's one of the worst characters on my account. Some of the new characters that I've got in the game that have worse weapons, don't have copies, are better than her. Just base stats are better. So Gwen is a hot goth mom, and she's probably going to be a B tier character long term. And maybe not. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes there's some juicy ones that stand the test of time, but just don't spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these characters because they typically will get power crept and something better will come out. So that's just my big warning. Is it happens every time? Like it's never not happened. I've seen it 500 times. So have fun with the game. Use your free pulls. Be very, very careful though, because sometimes you won't get what you want. Okay, this is a gacha game after all. There is some good here. The first strike I did had some mechanics. It's got some potential, but again, you could put hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into games like this. And at the end of the day, it's just pixels. And the second you spend that money, it's gone. Sunk cost fallacy and all that. Okay, you can't get it back. And it's very easy to be pulling the slot machine and not really thinking about it. And then an hour later going, oh my God, I just spent $500 on a character. I just spent $500 trying to get a weapon. And a lot of regrets will seep in. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. See you later. Bye-bye.